How you doing? My name is Dale Calvert. This is a private training that's only available to those that probably filled out a survey at some time, at some point. What I'm going to share with you, I'm going to take you way, way behind the curtain of the network marketing business model. And I'm going to share a couple of things, actually 3 concepts with you that could only be shared by someone who's been in the industry 40 years like myself. This is not information that you're going to get anywhere else. Nobody else is going to tell you this. Nobody else is going to talk about this. Very few people have experienced this. When I started in the profession, I was a 20-year-old snot-nosed kid living in a small little 600-square-foot home in a small town in Kentucky. Driving a beat-up Chevette. I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I knew I didn't know what I was doing. And my sponsor had so much confidence in me that he quit 2 weeks after I joined, and there I was. Didn't even know who my upline was. And it was really a blessing in disguise, because it was at a time when Sony had first come out with, some of you are old enough to remember this, but the Walkman cassette players that hooked on your belt. And I was fortunate because I had a job that allowed me to listen to those audios 8-10 hours a day while I was doing my full-time job. I could listen to audios. And I listened to more audios in 3 years. I did the math one time. If you were listening to 2 audios a day or 2 podcasts a day, 2 hours a day, it would take you, I forgot how many years, 6 or 7 years, to listen to the number of podcasts or audio cassettes at the time that I was able to listen to in a year. And it gave me an insight and a perspective on this profession that really, I don't know anybody else that sees this the way I do. And I understand what it takes to create wealth, true wealth, in this profession at a level that it literally haunts me. So what we're going to talk about and the things that you need to understand is, if you've joined network marketing since 2000, the year 2000, or beyond, you've never really had a chance to experience what this profession really can do for people and what's really available to you. In my opinion, overall, it's the blind leading the blind. See, you can join a company and you can log into your upline Zoom calls every week, and you can be on your company's Facebook page or your team Facebook page, and you can attend all the events. And you're going to get sporadic information. Somebody's going to say, do it this way. Somebody else is going to say, try this, or you need to do this more. You need to post on social media 5 times a day. You need to do this. You need to do that. And you'll see in every company there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of conflicting information. So then you go out to generic trainers, and quite frankly, most generic trainers are people that are trying to teach you to do that which they've never done. Honestly. And so the first thing you should ask is, who is this guy and why am I listening to him? Again, my name is Dale Calvert. I got involved in the profession. I was a 20-year-old snot-nosed kid living in a little 600-square-foot home, driving a beat-up Chevette. Didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I was able to listen and get perspective. And it took me 5 years of consistent part-time effort, consistent every single week, getting in front of new people every week, and 5 years of consistent effort to be able to leave my full-time job at IBM in Lexington, Kentucky. And it took me 9 years, to get to $92,000 a year in income. Now don't turn off this training yet. 9 years to get to $92,000. But my 10th year, it jumped to 252,000. My 11th year, and this is real significant, 9 years to 92,000. 10th year, 252,000. 11th year, 1.1 million. Why? How did that happen? I'm going to share with you how that happened, but the idea that I want you to understand as we go through this is because when I got to 92,000, I had a whole group of people coming behind me. Some were at 25,000, some were at 34,000, some were at 60,000 right behind me. And then when I went from 92 to 252, I had several people that jumped over the six-figure threshold. And again, this was not all with one company. It was not all with one company. Most people, it takes 2 or 3 companies before they figure out what I'm going to share with you today. So we went from 252 to 1.1 million. The next year was 2.3 million to 3.3 million to 3.8 million. When I was 39, I retired from building teams, and that was around 2000 because I saw the shift in the industry in 2000, and it was very frustrating for me. And so when I retired from building teams, Network Marketing Support Services was born. People started calling me, wanting me to speak at Super Saturday. I was a consultant for several major companies. I was the corporate trainer for several major companies. And network marketing has been my bread and butter for many years. But it's been beyond frustrating and aggravating and disappointing to see what has happened to this profession. And just to kind of back up a little bit, network marketing was born out of the personal development movement, telling people the truth. It's a 3 to 5 year game plan for success. If you're at the right company at the right time in history and you have the right mentorship. It's 3 to 5 years if you have the right company at the right time in history and you have the right mentorship. If you don't have those other 2 things, you're going to spin your wheels. See, my first company had been around 25 years before I got there. I worked it really, really hard. I went full time, but I was at the wrong time. The big growth had already happened way after I got there. Then my second company, I understood a little bit more. I still missed it by 2 years. I saw it 2 years before I joined. I couldn't make the move because I was so emotionally attached to my company. You know, I missed Herbalife. I could have been the second distributor in the state of Kentucky in Herbalife. I missed it because I was emotionally attached to my company. I missed A.L. Williams. I was there for the grand opening of the first office for A.L. Williams in Lexington, Kentucky. And I was being heavily recruited, and I just couldn't make the adjustment because I felt like I would be leaving my team behind. I wasn't smart enough to understand that if it's best for you, Dale, then it's best for the people that you love and care about. I didn't understand that. Most people don't. You have to experience it a couple, 3 times before you start to understand some things. So, network marketing came out of the personal development movement in the 70s. It created momentum. 80s, it was momentum. 90s, it was rolling. In 1991, John Kalich wrote the book, The Greatest Opportunity in the History of the World. And if you were around and working the business back then, in 1991, you know, without question, in 1991, network marketing was the greatest opportunity in the history of the world. It was. He had it right when he wrote that book, because everybody, you could go into any company and say, tell me the stories of people that have never been involved in network marketing before, who started with your company and are already at a full-time income within 3 to 5 years. And most companies would have dozens of stories like that, of people that started, they got plugged in to the culture of personal development, personal growth, goal setting, work ethic, time management, everything Jim Rohn has taught us and many others, and they applied it to that opportunity and changed their life. And then in 1995, Success Magazine comes out with We Create Millionaires, and in my opinion, that was the peak of network marketing, because we went from a growth stage and momentum to we started trying to compete with each other and recruit each other. And you saw, crazy things like different lead programs come out where you could buy fresh leads, and all these people were trying to convince people, I'm going to sell you this package of leads every month, and when you call these people, they're going to be so anxious to hear from you, they're going to be screaming their credit card in the phone, begging to join your company. And it just got very messed up. It got very messed up. When a movement moves from a growth momentum stage into a speculation stage, there's always unintended consequences. Always. And that can be in any business, any kind of movement. So I saw this happening. I did a training back then called Network Marketing is a Scam, and my point back then was, guys, we can't continue to compete with each other. My pycnogenol is better than your pycnogenol and all of this. Our competition is a dead-end job. And that's what I was trying to communicate to people. And anyway, in 2000, 95 it peaked. In 2000, the internet started to become more mainstream, and people were saying a lot of stupid stuff like, we're going to change from the top, we're going to start helping 97% are going to succeed now because of the internet, where only 3% succeeded in the past. And you saw these whole speculative concepts and ideas that are now considered mainstream in this profession. Mainstream, But you saw there's speculative ideas and concepts. And what happened was speculation always leads to dissipation. And if you look at sales in the United States in the last 3 years for network marketing companies, they've dipped. And they've dipped pretty good. Why? Because when a movement gets away from the core fundamentals, there's always unintended consequences. So, Dale, you're really depressing me. I mean, it's like, what are you saying, that I shouldn't be involved in network marketing? No, I'm not. I love it. I think it's the greatest personal development program that was ever created. I do. It's a personal development program with a compensation plan attached. But today there's so much misinformation, and it's so just sporadic and spread out and messed up that we are in the profession is in a state of dissipation. And, a lot of people have been brought into different companies. They were not given the direction, the support. They were not taught. They were not trained. And it's created what I call the network marketing social club. I don't look at network marketing as a business anymore. I mean, I personally do, and I treat it that way. But when you look at it from a broad perspective, it's just a big social club. Leaders their only focus seems to be to keep people on auto ship one more month. I mean, that's what I see. And Brian Tracy told us, real leaders don't develop followers and then try to keep them excited and on auto ship one more month. Real leaders develop other leaders. Real leaders develop other leaders. So The first concept, if you look behind the curtain, the first thing you need to understand is you can create wealth. You can see the compensation plans that created millionaires in the early 90s are as strong or stronger today than they were back then. The products are as good or better than they were back then. What's changed? Success Magazine says we create millionaires. And man, when that came out, everybody in the profession was fired up. And people that were involved in traditional business and in corporate America, they kind of admired the network marketing business model from afar. But they're thinking, golly, there's a lot of average people with above average desire that are getting wealthy with that concept, that business model. And that was the peak in 95. And then when the internet hit and you had all these people come out with all these speculative concepts, and we got away from the core fundamentals that created the momentum to begin with, the industry's been in the tank ever since. So the first thing that I think you really need to understand, it's a 3 to 5 year game plan. And this is what you must be able to do. You must be able to teach Sue how to teach Joan to teach Tom. Don Fala said it in the first network marketing book I ever read. It's called The Napkin Presentations. I can't even remember the name of it. And he said a lot of stuff, and a lot of it was, it was okay. But that concept right there, you must be able to teach Sue how to teach Joan to teach Tom. That's the only way true duplication happens. And what I see today, and what you will see if you look around, you have a lot of people that join this profession with transferable skills. Transferable skills. And they were able to go into the marketplace with the skill sets they had. Maybe they were popular on social media, or they had an email list, or they had a lot of credibility in their community. But they had transferable skills that they could apply to network marketing. And they were able to get their business off the ground. And sometimes they were even able to build it to a 6-figure income. And I can guarantee you this, because I've watched it for 40 years. They can get to 6 figures. If somebody can get their business off the ground quickly and get to a full-time income, down the road, they have terrible time duplicating, because the only way they can duplicate is find other people with transferable skills. And that's only about 3% of the population. 70% of the population is going to die broke no matter what I do or you do or anybody else. 3% can take their transferable skills and create a following. But real leadership doesn't create followings, they create other leaders. So my perception way back, and I've been teaching this for years, is wealth is created with the 27%. Those good, honest, hardworking people that just want more direction than jump on my conference call, jump on my webinar, jump on my Zoom, and we'll have different people come in and teach you multiple different ways to build the business so we can really confuse you. And stay on autoship and don't quit. And that's real, it's a mess. It's the blind leading the blind. And a lot of these people are really good people, and they sincerely want to help other people, but they don't appreciate and understand the transferable skills that they had when they joined. And so there's a disconnect. And my perception, if you look at our organization, and when we had our major growth, we helped over 200 people on our personal team develop full-time 5, 6, and 7-figure incomes. The majority of those people, the large majority of those people, were 27%ers. People they came in, they had desire, they were teachable, they were willing to go to work, but maybe they didn't have the credibility or the transferable skills that the 3%ers do. But we were able to systemize the training and the mindset, skill set development and duplicate it to where they could move forward and they could duplicate and they could teach concept by concept, idea by idea. And we built a huge organization, over 60,000 people. We helped a lot of families all over the country. It changed people's lives financially. From a personal development standpoint, the ripple effect of that has been unbelievable over the years. But it didn't happen. It happened by design. It happened by understanding how to sequentially, that's a key word, sequentially help people develop the skill sets and mindsets to move forward, progress, and then train their people in the same concept, the same ideas, and that unity. And there wasn't confusion. It's like, this is how we do it. This is what we do. This is what we say. When this situation comes up, we do this. And that's how real businesses operate in the real world. If I pull up to a Starbucks here in Georgia or Kentucky, where I'm originally from, or if I'm in Texas, Iowa, you name the state, you name the country, and I pull up to the Starbucks drive-thru, they're going to say, "Welcome to Starbucks. What can we get started for you today?" There was a time when you walk into a McDonald's and every McDonald's said, "Would you like fries with that? Would you like to supersize that?" Everything is unified, therefore it can be duplicated. Does that make sense? I mean, you walk into McDonald's, the French fry is always on the left. Why? Because anybody can come into that McDonald's and function. We talk about duplication in this profession, but do you really see anywhere? It's a lot of people sharing their opinions that entered the profession with transferable skills. And a confused mind does nothing. So the first concept, the thing that is really important for you to understand, that your long-term income is in direct proportion to the number of leaders, and this is a key word, that are developed on your team. That's how you're going to create wealth here. Or you can go out and just try to find a heavy hitter. I can go find and recruit a heavy hitter. Well, it's not finding the right person. It's in becoming the right person. Again, the best personal development program in the world, but you'll never have that opportunity, and most people never do, because number one, they don't have the right mentor, or they're listening to too many voices, or they're just simply with the wrong company at the wrong time in history, which limits their full upside potential. So, going behind the curtain even further, the second thing I want to share with you is, what do you really want from this profession? What if you could design the perfect 5-year plan for you in your network marketing business, where would you be in 5 years? And really take some time and think about that. Where would you be in 5 years? I mean, my personal 5-year goal, personally, right now, is I want to help 500 people develop 6-figure incomes. And I want to develop 10 millionaires on my team. And I know that sounds like blah, 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 MLM hype, sure, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But I'm one of the few people on the planet walking on this earth, one of the few, I could probably count us on one hand, that know what it feels like to have 200 people on your team that have achieved that level. I've done it in the past because I was in the right company at the right time in history. The stars lined up. And I understood this whole concept of duplication and what it takes to work with people like me, average people with above average desire. I mean, I was a 20-year-old snot-nosed kid. As I said, I didn't have any transferable skills, but I had a Walkman. And I had 8-10 hours a day I could listen and understand and look behind the curtain and see what was really happening in this profession. So, you know, I'm trying to double what I've done in my best 5-year run. That's my goal now. What is your goal? What are you looking for? Because there might be a few of you that just want to make a few hundred extra bucks a month, and that's why you're involved in network marketing. But my guess is that's not most of you, because those people would have not gotten this far in this training, in this video. They would have never watched it or even started watching it. But I tell people, and have told them for 20 years, if you want to make a few hundred extra dollars a month, there's much better business models than network marketing, in my opinion. I mean, sell on eBay. There's other things you can do if you're just looking for a few hundred extra dollars a month. There's some of you that want to replace your current income, and we'll say that's, you know, $140,000 a year or whatever it is. It might be $40,000, it might be $19,000, but you want to replace your current income. And I would say if it's, you know, $150,000 or below, that you could probably do that with most credible companies in the marketplace. You know, companies that have been around at least 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. You know, some have been around 30, 35 years, you know, and you could probably do that, replace your income. If you really focus and you have the right mentorship and you have the right systems in place, then you could probably do that if you really work hard and stay focused and don't get distracted and get in a culture that inspires greatness, not one that is just trying to keep people excited and on auto ship one more month, that's appealing to mediocrity. Because that really is the choice. Inspire greatness or appeal to mediocrity. And unfortunately, I would say about 90% of the companies have cultures that are just appealing to mediocrity. You know, they're trying to make it, you know, some kind of social club. And they've done a darn good job at it. But if you want to create wealth, I believe there's just a handful of companies that provide that opportunity today at this time and place in history. And you have to be with the right company at the right time in history. I mean, if you look at most of the millionaires that were made in this profession, you look what company they joined and when they joined it, most of them got involved in the early stages of those companies. Whether we're talking about Amway, Herbalife, Mary Kay, New Skin, whatever, you know, the legacy companies, A.L. Williams, Prime America now, they were in the right place at the right time with the right company. So it depends on what you want. Because if you really want to create legacy income, I mean, that's really why you're here and really what you want to do, then you have to be aligned with the right company at the right time in history. Don't fool yourself. I mean, you know, when I was with the Shackley Corporation, I worked really hard, but I was with a great company, but at the wrong time in history. And I didn't understand. I was new, you know, the thought of making a pivot scared me to death because everybody falls in love with their first company. Everybody does. And I thought that I would be leaving my team behind, leaving the other people that I'd met at conventions and stuff. And I couldn't bring myself to do that. I should have, but I couldn't emotionally because I didn't understand that, in the real world, people they're at Toyota Motor Company and they're doing well and they're in a management position, and Ford calls and offers them a management position here where it will help their upward track of mobility, their projection of where they can go in their career, and then they move their family and everything and they go to Ford, and then they might go from Ford to Chevy or whatever. That's how the real world works. And in network marketing, it's a whole lot different. And it's even more difficult today for people because network marketing is really not a business anymore. It's just a social club. But again, we have a lot of people that have joined us from other organizations, and because they understand that if it's the best move for me, then it's the best move for the people that I care about. But you have to be with the right place, right company, right time, right place. And there's 4 things that will determine that. I call it the 4 stars. Number 1 is, it's being with a product, having a product line that is based upon science. Unfortunately, there's 2 or 3 companies that make the majority of products for most companies in this profession, and they might change an ingredient or 2 and put a new label on it. But there's 2 or 3 companies, manufacturers, that provide most network marketing companies their products, and a lot are not based upon science. They're based on scientific formulas, hopefully, but most companies don't own their manufacturing, so that affects the pricing. But you have to have the right product, a product that makes sense, a product that will appeal to the masses and not just to some small niche group of people. So you have to have the right product. You have to have a compensation plan that allows people to make a good income on the front end, but also provides residual income on the back end, and that's a real balancing act. And then you have to have a company with a track record of some kind. And if when I first heard about Herbalife or A.L. Williams, if I knew that they were going to be Herbalife and A.L. Williams and not just some other company, because most network marketing companies that start, they're not around 3 years, as many of you know. Very few make it 3 years. Hardly any make it 5 years. And, only a minute number ever become an Herbalife or a A.L. Williams. So again, just to try to give myself a benefit of the doubt, I don't know if I would have joined anyway, honestly. I like to think I was smart enough that I would have gotten in front of those trends. But I didn't know Herbalife was going to be Herbalife. Nobody had heard of Herbalife when I first heard about it. I mean, again, I could have been the second distributor in the state of Kentucky. I didn't join. I missed it. Same with Art Williams. I love the concept of buy term and invest the rest. And I loved Art Williams as a speaker. But it's like I couldn't make that move. And if you can make the pivot, most people are going to have to make the pivot, but after they have some knowledge, to get in front of the right trend, the right company at the right time in history. And then the 4th thing, and it's probably the most important and nobody ever talks about, but it is the team culture. It is the team culture. Do you have a culture where it's teaching systematically and sequentially Joe how to teach Sally, to teach Tom, to teach Mona? Is that happening? Because it's not happening in this profession. I go into, prior to COVID, I was speaking at 2 events a month somewhere in the United States for different companies. And I would go in and there could be, 5,000 people in the room. And I would say, how many of you have been involved in network marketing over 10 years? And it was like 30, 40% of the room. And I'd say, how many of you have been involved in network marketing 3 years or less? And it'd be like 40 or 50% of the room. And so those of you that have been involved in this profession 4 years to 9 years, please stand up. And it was minuscule, maybe 5%, 10% of the crowd. And I would say, leaders, doesn't that scare you to death? Where are the future leaders on your team? Where are they? Where are those 27%ers? Because you've got a lot of newbies and you've got people been around forever. But where's the next wave of leadership coming from? Because when you're dependent upon finding people that have transferable skills and not developing the 27%ers, I mean, that's the mindset and the mode that this profession has been in since 2000. It's just recruiting each other. You know, it's like somebody told me yesterday, said, Dale, it's like everybody's just laundering money among friends looking for the next big deal. It's sad. It's absolutely sad. So the last thing I want to share with you, and this is probably the most important, it's find the right mentor. And this is just a segment from an article that the great late Mark Yarnell wrote. If it's part of a PDF called The Top MLM Training Articles in History, and we'll probably put a link down here below if you want to download the whole ebook. Mark Yarnell, as many of you know, wrote Your First Year in Network Marketing. And this is just a part of that article. He said, and he had talked with a clinical psychologist about development of people and systematically and sequentially and so on. And he said, Dr. Van Doer pointed out to us over and over again an example using companies like IBM or Xerox. He said, what would happen if you were to take their 12 or 20 regional managers, train them each in a different methodology for marketing the product, all different, and then say, I want you to go back to your regions, and each month, one of you is going to be scheduled into another person's region to teach the antithesis of what they're teaching. So in other words, 20 regional managers, all of you are going to learn different systems and ways to market your products, and then you're just going to rotate throughout each one's region teaching what you know. That's what he's saying here. He says within 6 months, IBM and Xerox would both be in Chapter 11. Yet that is the ambiguity. That ambiguity is the very nature of our industry. See, in my opinion, the only reason network marketing has even survived is because the business model is so powerful. It's the most powerful business model in the world, and I've looked at hundreds. The most powerful business model in the world to help average people with above average desire create time and money. Freedom. Nothing can compare. And because it's so good, it's lasted. But think about it. I mean, Bob Crisp in the fabulous book, Raising a Giant, said that most network marketers quit within their first 72 hours. Why? Because they're given no direction. They're not taught how to launch their business. They go out like a chicken with their head cut off. They talk to 3 or 4 or 5 people that they work with, a couple of family members. They all say, no, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. And they quit. The start stops most people. And he also talked about how, you go into a convention and you got 12 different people on stage teaching 12 different ways to do the business, And people leave that conference just fired up, excited, but have no clue what to do. Do I do it the way the grandmother did it? Do I do it the way that young couple did it? Do I do it the way the people in Canada were doing it? The people that I met at the conference that spoke from New York? How do I do it? And a confused mind does nothing. That's what's been going on in this profession for 20 plus years. He goes on and he says in the article, and this is what scares me, honestly, and really the reason that I'm doing this video. Great people walk away from this business, not because the systems to which they've been exposed are necessarily ineffective, but because they're changing all the time and people are adding new caveats and forced to change systems every 2 or 3 months. If you've been around and you've seen it, I've seen it, your upline says, this is what we're going to do, and then they say, no, we're going to do this, and then 90 days later, we're going to try that. And it's just a hodgepodge, just trying to search and figure out what should I be doing. And I get that because that's the way I operated my first 3 years in the business. And see, when you enter this profession with transferable skills and you can get some things going because of your credibility or social media presence or whatever, and you get some things going, and then it finally dawns on you, the people that I have cannot do what I do. So then they start searching and pulling and try this, and they start looking for what I call the foo-foo dust. I'll continue with the article here. They're forced to effective systems change effective systems every 2 or 3 months. And he says, find a mentor, plug into their system, and don't have an original thought until you're at $10K a month. And you will be ahead of 99% of people that join network marketing organizations. Find a mentor. Right company, right time in history. And again, I'm talking to those of you that want to create wealth. That's who I'm talking to. These are the 3 steps. This is behind the curtain stuff. And I know it's hard for some people to hear. Man, it was hard for me back in the day when I saw Herbalife, and I knew in my soul it was going to be huge. But I let it pass me by. It's hard. But find the right mentor, find the right team culture, a culture that understands you have to be able to teach John how to teach Sally to teach Tom. That's how you build this business. That's how you do it. I believe in that. I'll just end up by saying this. 7 months ago, my wife and I, Dawn, we had an office in Kentucky, 5 full-time employees. We work with 11 outsourcers, operated network marketing support services. And I've had the opportunity to travel all over the world, teaching different concepts and ideas. And I was accepting up to 2 events a month because I'm tired of traveling, honestly. And accept up to 2 events a month. And I would go in and people just, they heard what I was saying and they got it. That because the thing that I would tell leaders, it's not about you. It's not about you. You aren't the issue. It's about what can be duplicated by the 27 percenters on your team. That's how true duplication happens. Look in the real world. I go into a management program at Home Depot or somewhere. They're going to teach me how to do the cash register and how to check people out. They're going to teach me how to get people's loaded correctly. They're going to teach me everything about the plumbing section and the plumbing aisle and what to do there. And then they're going to teach me this, and then they're going to teach me this. And they're going to do it step by step, concept by concept, idea by idea. You know, I go to McDonald's. It's like learn this cash register and learn What is the verbiage? What do we say when a customer walks up? What buttons do I push? What do I do? What's my responsibility? What do I do? And I learn that cash register well enough where I can teach somebody else, key. And then I go to the drive-through and I learn how to do that. Then I learn the French fryer and what temperature gauges to use and how, and when the oil should be changed and how to do that French fryer. And I learned it well enough to teach it to somebody else. And I go in the back, learn how to make the sandwiches, learn it well enough to teach somebody else. Then I learn how to keep all the parking lot clean and the inside of the restaurant clean. And I go through all these processes sequentially, step by step. And then I can hand somebody the keys to the McDonald's and say, run the McDonald's. That's how real businesses develop homegrown leaders. Sequentially, step by step, concept by concept, idea by idea, system by system. That's what I've done for 40 years. So I go into these events and teach these kind of concepts, and everybody, oh, that makes so much sense. And they would get fired up. And then what happens? They go right back into the culture where people tell them, you got to post on social media 5 times a day. And, what do I need to do? I need to try to get my business, talk to more people, do more posts, do more videos. And it's maddening to the 27%ers. So long story short, right after COVID, I decided, my wife and I talked, and I said, I've done this for 40 years. I love it. It's given me a lifestyle so far beyond what I ever could have imagined. We bought 4 e-commerce stores last year, and we're going to build these up and sell them. And I think I'm just going to build and sell and flip e-commerce stores and just do some more fun stuff. Because really, after I retired from building teams when I was 39 years old, I've just coasted. And network marketing support services has been phenomenal for me. And I've had the opportunity to work with so many awesome people. But I've just gotten, once you see the industry that you loved grow, peak, and then fall into a state of speculation, which led to dissipation, it's like, I'm just going to do other things. I just want to spend more time with my grandkids or whatever. And then, but it's like, but I love this profession. It changed my life. But it's like I go in and I can make an impact for a day or two, but then people go right back to doing what they've always done, the way they've always done it. And of course, Einstein said the definition of ignorance is expecting change, doing what you've always done the way you've always done it. So long story short, 2 weeks, I contacted one of the largest website brokers in the United States. I have 17 different properties in the home business market. I'm going to liquidate all my intellectual property, our training that we sell on Amazon and through our websites. And I'm just going to liquidate everything and just be done with it. And that was the decision. Paperwork was starting all that process to sell everything. And then this company lands in my lap. And I looked at it, and it's like, I'm looking for red flags. And there's no red flags, but I've already made the decision. I'm not doing this anymore. But then I was laying in bed that night. I talked to a couple people I respect, and I was looking at everything. And then it hit me, Dale, you're looking at this through the wrong pair of glasses. You're looking at this from a USA startup. This is not a USA startup. It's a proven 9-year-old booming European company. They're in 30 countries around the world. They have 14 distribution warehouses spread out all over the world. There's over 252,000 distributors, satisfied customers in countries all over, 30 different countries all over the world. Their top income earners are already making 6 figures monthly. And it's like, You're looking at it wrong. It's not, this could happen, Dale. This has already happened. It's already happened around the world. And now they're just now coming to North America. I mean, you don't have to be the sharpest tool in the shed to understand what's getting ready to happen in North America, but based upon what's already happened around the world. I heard a preacher one time, he said, if we could see the future, we would all be financially independent. We could all become millionaires. And I remember at the time, I felt like saying, no, we wouldn't. Not if we don't take advantage of what we see. So I got up in the middle of the night and I was looking at everything again. And then I told my wife, I said, you're not going to believe this. I said, but I'm going to build a team again. I said, I'm going to build a team again. I said, I'm going to give this 5 years. It'll feed our great-great-great-grandchildren. I believe that. And we made that decision, and we hit it. We launched it just like I've been teaching people to launch for the last 25 years, generically. We launched it. We were the #1 recruiter in the world our first month. We were the #1 recruiter in the world our second month. Our third month, my wife's husband, I'm my wife's husband. My wife's dad got very sick and he ended up passing. So it kind of took us out of the loop a little bit, but we were still the seventh on the top 10 recruiters in the world. And it exploded. And we have put together, in my opinion, the most unified, duplicatable, sequential, step-by-step training system that's ever been put together by any organization. You know, how to launch your business, specifically how to get it off the ground. You know, then after it's launched, then we teach. We have 15, 20 different ways to generate leads through outreach, and we're just doing some really unique things that have never been done before. Never. We're doing some things I'm not even going to mention because they're so out of the box, but they're working and people are progressing and they're moving forward and they know it. See, they know they're getting better. They know their comfort zone is expanding. And I have so many people that have been with, you know, different companies maybe over the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 years. And for the first time, they're progressing, not just in their business, in their income, but their mindset, their skill set, and their confidence. Their confidence, because we work as hard on helping people develop the right mindsets as we do the skill sets. So, you know, that's what I'm doing now. Fired up, excited about it. Whoever shared this page with you can give you more insights if you want them. But that's where I'm at. And I am so inspired. I love the industry. I despise what it's become. I just do. And we need more people that understand that you really can have anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. But you have to treat this like a business, and it has to be very sequential. This is what we do to launch. It has to be very systematic, so everybody's on the same page and everybody's supporting each other and understands. And you don't have people just out there searching constantly for the magic foo-foo dust, you know, the magic lamp that's all, you know, it's like people throw their distributor kit under the couch and every now and then pull it out and start rubbing on it like it's a magic lamp, hoping $100 bills are going to start flying out of it. There's reasons people fail in business and in network marketing, and there's reasons people succeed. And my whole approach is, how can I stack the odds for success in people's favor and give them, the right people, a real chance to change their life, create legacy income and freedom and time that most people can't even comprehend that is available. And I know if you look behind the scenes, these 3 steps these three ideas I've tried to communicate with you on the video really sincerely are the answer. And I hope you'll be able to take them and apply them to the best of your ability, to your opportunity. If you happen to be in between companies or you're looking, again, get with the person that shared this private training with you, and they can help you. They can answer any questions that you have and steer you in the right direction. I appreciate you taking the time to watch all this. The fact that you came through all this and watched it all tells me what kind of person you are. You're a student and you're serious. And just align yourself with the right company at the right time in history, the right mentorship, the right team culture. And I believe that every dream that you ever had for network marketing and can be provided for yourself and your family. It's the greatest opportunity in the history of the world when the stars line up and you go to work and you've got great mentorship that knows what they're doing and that is helping you develop sequentially so you can turn around and you can teach Tommy how to teach Sally to teach Judy. And when you can structure your training system, the real product is people. That's the real product. The real product in this profession is a well-trained distributor. Real leaders develop other leaders, not followers. So I hope that's helped you. Thank you for watching. And my name again is Dale Calvert. And if I haven't met you, I hope to shake your hand sometime in the near future.